Hi. I'm Lady Shasha, mistress of the snark, connoisseur of the gore, and your hostess with the mostest. All right, so let's get into. Have you guys heard the song Cotton Eye Joe? Let me know. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you've ever heard the song Cotton Eye Joe, the techno song Cotton Eye Joe. I wonder. Know what? While we're talking about ancient stuff, let me see if it actually was a folk song. I'm gonna. Because I only know the techno version of that song. But it does sound old. Okay, it says Cotton Eye Joe is a traditional American country folk song that originated with enslaved people on plantations before the Civil War. It was a complicated history with multiple versions, but its roots are undeniably in American folk music. So it is an old folk song. I didn't know whether it was a techno song meant to sound like an old folk song or actually was an old folk song. But apparently, Cotton Eye Joe is an old folk song that they turned into a techno song. And now we're getting a slasher movie based on Cotton Eye Joe. Okay, Kiki says, I've played the techno and the original at a wedding 3 years ago. Yeah, that's where I typically hear this song too, at weddings. Okay, so a bunch of you have heard Cotton Eye Joe. PJ has never heard Cotton Eye Joe. I don't think they'll play it in the trailer because I don't think they have the rights to it, but we will check it out. Let's read what's going on before I play the trailer. Someone says, what if Cotton Eye Joe wasn't just a party anthem, but instead a bloody slasher movie? That's the question filmmaker Nick Merola aims to answer with his movie Cotton Eye Joe. The filmmaker, who recently directed Killer Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween-themed ads for G Fuel, has taken to Kickstarter to bring his Cotton Eye Joe dreams to life. The fundraiser explains, in partnership with South James Productions, Cotton Eye Joe will be Nick Merola's first feature based on an original script also written by Nick and co-written by Brandon Weevil, who also did Dolly. The film reimagines the folklore behind the infamous tune as a backwoods slasher dripping with blood, dark humor, and practical effects. Shot as a traditional horror feature with elements of comedy sprinkled throughout, Cotton Eye Joe promises to be a thrill ride designed to make audiences laugh, scream, and squirm. Here's the plot synopsis for upcoming horror movie Cotton Eye Joe. When four friends break down on a deserted country road, they seek refuge on a remote farm, only to awaken the brutal legend of Cotton Eye Joe, a relentless killer tied to the land's dark past. As night falls, survival becomes a desperate game of cat and mouse in this backwoods slasher. We've all heard Cotton Eye Joe at weddings. It's funny because that's what Kiki just said. That she plays him at weddings. um, I lost my place. We've all heard Cotton Eye Joe at weddings and baseball games, but have you ever wondered who he really was? Merola said in a statement posted to the Kickstarter page, "This is my love letter to classic horror, built with heart, humor, and blood by the gallon." The team is looking to raise $100,000 to bring Cotton Eye Joe to screen with practical kills, and Merola has even put together a trailer with test footage to help whet your appetite. Watch below and head over to Kickstarter to help fund Cotton Eye Joe, the horror movie. Yes, I did say from enslaved. So yeah, well, I don't know because the song is the song, even though the song is originally a slave song where they singing about a white person. I don't know. I have to look deeper into the lore, which I will have to do before watching this movie because I don't want to give something a look if it's being disrespectful to you know, the history of black people in America. I do not want to give that a look if that's the thing. Depends on who they're singing about in Cotton Eye Joe. Okay, what's going on? I must have missed what's going on in the chat. Y'all, this is the night before Thanksgiving. Everybody just chill and have a good time, all right? Nobody has to leave. Nobody has to be upset everybody. We had a little bit of we'll call it a spirited debate. Let's just chill. Let's watch the trailer for Cotton Eye Joe, and then let's continue to have some fun. All right? Y'all be all right. I know things can get, certain subjects can be very emotional, but let's go back to how we normally are. Pretend none of that happened. We're gonna hit restart like it's a video game and continue on. So let's go. Check out this Cotton Eye Joe. There we go. That's a great comment. Let me put that up. BC says it's like it's Thanksgiving already, and we're a dysfunctional family. Yes. When you think about it, this is the most Thanksgiving thing that could happen. Or maybe it's just me. I'm used to either at least two of my uncles getting into it on Thanksgiving. I mean, it's just there's something about this holiday. All right, let's look at this.
Hi, I'm Nick Marola, a filmmaker and commercial director, and welcome to the Kickstarter for Cotton Eye Joe, my debut independent horror feature, a gritty new slasher born.
I will say this. I said this earlier in what we watched last weekend because I played this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I love how he has some of the same collectibles that I have. I have the Freddy's glove. I have that Good Guys doll. I have that same gold Friday the 13th mask. I did used to have this collector set of Nightmare on Elm Street, but I went through a period of being super, super broke, and I sold it back when you could sell you used to be able to go to the video stores and sell your DVDs back to them. And so that's what I did because I was really broke around 2007. I sold this set that I had here of Nightmare on Elm Streets, and I'm kicking myself to this day because I hate that I sold that. I really like that set. Anyways, let's get back to what he's saying about his Kickstarter.
Born from one of America's strangest folk songs. This is the horror film I've been waiting to make my entire career. I've been passionate about horror movies since I was a kid, and even made my first horror short on my dad's VHS camera in elementary school. Since then, I've had short films featured on Crypt TV and have won numerous awards at film festivals worldwide, including my newest project based on Silent Hill, The Room. I've had the honor of directing commercials for some of the most iconic horror and gaming IP, including A Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th, Dead Space, Child's Play, and more. And now it's time to take the next step in my filmmaking journey. The step I've been waiting for since I first picked up a camera in elementary school. To take everything I've learned over the years and make a feature film. Don't let the name fool you. Cotton Eye Joe is a true slasher film. It's incredibly bloody, it's eerie, it's suspenseful, but as the name implies, it's not afraid to be playful. Most importantly, it answers the age-old questions. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Cotton Eye Joe follows two couples on a road trip who break down on a deserted country road. They seek refuge on a remote farm only to awaken the brutal legend of Cotton Eye Joe, a relentless killer tied to the land's dark past. With a pitchfork in one hand and blood-stained cotton shoved into one of his eye sockets, Cotton Eye Joe is built to be one of the next great horror icons in the tradition of Freddy, Jason, and Michael. I co-wrote the film with Brandon Weeble, a Writers Guild screenwriter whose film Dolly just premiered at Fantastic Fest and has already been greenlit for a sequel. We've already secured part of our financing. We've locked some great locations and assembled an amazing crew. We're ready to roll cameras this spring, but we need your help to push us over the finish line. And because this is Kickstarter, we're bringing you along for the ride with us. There's awesome perks at every level, including a 100% Cotton Eye Joe t-shirt, behind-the-scenes access, and even a chance to appear in the film. And if you're up for it, join us as an executive producer and see your name right in the opening credits. So, grab your pitchforks and let's make something bloody together.
Let me pause that right quick. BC says, I really wish I could have posted the Michael Jackson eating popcorn meme earlier. And Welcome to Darkside says, Dolly was crazy. I had an opportunity to see that at Fantastic Fest. Well, that's great that you got to go to Fantastic Fest. I hope did you do some videos about it? Because I'd love to know your experience at Fantastic Fest. Okay. Now, mind you, this trailer is like more of a proof of concept trailer.
Been a long time since a woman come around here.
Why are there no women left in this town?
10 years.
His skin looks too smooth. This actor, you look like you just had a facial. And I don't think if you were supposed to be like, a small town, rugged farmer type guy, you wouldn't look like you just had a facial. Not that there's anything wrong with you looking like you had a facial on a normal day. That's actually usually an admirable thing to see in men taking care of their skin. I like that. But for this character, they needed to roughen your look up a little bit more.
Here.
Why are there no women left in this town?
10 years ago, storm ran through these parts. Took every woman with it. If it wasn't for him, I'd been married a long time ago.
Scary.
Where did you come from?
Where did you go?
Okay, that part was kind of corny.
Maybe one day they'll write a song about us.
I mean, I get that it's meant to be comedic, but I don't know, something about the timing didn't work. Let me see what you guys are saying. Tom Baker says, I like the director's attitude and the directness. Someone you could work with. Absolutely. Kiki says, haha, he ain't country rough. Exactly. And Welcome to the Dark Side says that the Fantastic Fest was virtual. Oh, I didn't know that. I would have tried to go if I had known it was virtual. CJ says, I think that's a fair impression. Yes, about the director as well. Kiki says, not where I live. They look rough. Yeah. Down here too. Like when you see guys like that, their skin looks way more weather beaten and rough. Welcome Dark Side says, I couldn't afford to go, so I applied for the remote coverage. See, I wish I would have known I would have applied for the same thing because I couldn't afford to go. CJ says, what's the difference between an onion and a banjo? Nobody cries when you chop up a banjo. I haven't heard that one before. BC says 100% corn. Doc says, I don't know about Cotton Eye Joe. And Kiki says, yeah, the timing was 3 beats off. Yeah, there's something. I mean, they can improve upon it because this is just a proof of concept trailer. It's not the final trailer because they haven't started shooting the movie just yet because they're trying to still secure funding. But yeah, it can be improved upon. But I would like to read more into the origins of the song and whether that's being respected because I just feel like that should be respected.